Imagine waking up to news that tens of thousands of federal employees have been abruptly laid off. That's exactly what happened in February of 2025, plunging the United States civil service into chaos, in a move that sent shockwaves through Washington and beyond. Approximately 30,000 federal workers found themselves jobless, seemingly overnight. This wasn't a gradual reduction in force. It was a mass exodus, leaving agencies scrambling and employees reeling. At the heart of this upheaval is the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, established under the second Trump presidency. DOGE's stated mission is to slash federal spending and streamline government operations. While officially not a cabinet-level department, DOGE is undeniably powerful, and it is closely linked to billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk, who serves as an informal advisor and a key figure driving its agenda. Trump himself declared Musk to be, quote, in charge of DOGE, unquote, though the White House has downplayed his formal authority. Regardless of titles, Musk's influence is undeniable, and his vision of rapid downsizing is being implemented across the federal government. The peak of these layoffs occurred in mid-February, culminating in what columnist Michael Thomas Embrich of Rolling Stone grimly termed a, quote, Valentine's Day massacre, unquote. The sheer speed and scale of the terminations were breathtaking. On just 3 days ending February 14th, thousands of public servants received notices that their services were no longer needed. The phrase, quote, Valentine's Day massacre, unquote, vividly captures the sudden and brutal nature of these job losses, leaving a lasting sting for those affected and raising serious questions about the administration's methods. The impact of these layoffs has been widespread and deeply concerning, touching numerous critical federal agencies. The United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, was gutted, with nearly all employees initially placed on administrative leave, severely disrupting humanitarian programs around the globe. The Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, saw hundreds of terminations, raising immediate concerns about aviation safety, especially following a recent fatal mid-air collision. Even the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, was not spared, losing staff crucial for enforcing clean air and water regulations, potentially weakening environmental safeguards nationwide. The official reasons cited for these mass terminations were often vague and dismissive. Employees were informed that their agency, quote, no longer has a need for your services, unquote, or that they, quote, failed to demonstrate fitness or qualifications, unquote. Yet, many of those laid off had stellar performance reviews, some even receiving the highest possible ratings just the previous year. This stark contradiction fueled outrage and accusations that performance was merely a pretext for politically motivated purges, further eroding trust in the administration's stated goals of efficiency and modernization. Adding to the sense of chaos and top-down control, the Office of Personnel Management, or OPM, sent out an unprecedented email directive. Federal employees were ordered to justify their roles by replying with a 5-bullet summary of their accomplishments from the previous week. Elon Musk himself amplified the directive, stating on social media platform X that, quote, failure to respond will be taken as a resignation, unquote. This email sparked immediate resistance, with agencies like the FBI, State Department, and Department of Defense advising employees to disregard the order, citing concerns over legality and separation of powers. In a stunning display of disarray, the Trump administration was forced to backtrack on some of the layoffs, realizing they had mistakenly terminated essential personnel, particularly in critical areas like combating the H5N1 bird flu virus at the Department of Agriculture and maintaining nuclear security at the National Nuclear Security Administration. They scrambled to reinstate some employees. The reversal, however, was often clumsy and confusing, with supervisors struggling to even contact former employees who had already lost access to their government email accounts, highlighting the disorganized and reactive nature of the entire operation. Despite its focus on cutting government spending, DOGE itself is not operating on a shoestring budget. By February of 2025, DOGE's allocated funds had ballooned to $14.4 million, a figure that dwarfed the White House's annual operating budget. This allocation raised eyebrows and fueled criticism about the true priorities at play. Adding to the political dimension, a bipartisan Congressional Delivering Outstanding Government Efficiency Caucus, or DOGE caucus, was formed to support DOGE's mission, indicating a level of congressional endorsement for these drastic measures, although some early Democratic support began to waver as the extent of the layoffs and controversies became clear. Unsurprisingly, These mass layoffs have triggered significant legal challenges and widespread resistance. Employee unions have filed lawsuits alleging illegal firings and violations of separation of powers. The American Foreign Service Association and the American Federation of Government Employees also launched legal action against the U.S. ID cuts, successfully securing a temporary restraining order to halt the agency's dismantling. Class action lawsuits from thousands of affected federal employees are also mounting, promising a protracted legal battle over the legality and fairness of these mass terminations. Adding another layer of controversy, the composition of the DOGE team itself has come under intense scrutiny. Dubbed, quote, DOGE kids, unquote, by some, reports surfaced of young, inexperienced engineers, some barely out of their teens, being given significant access and authority within federal agencies. Concerns were raised about their qualifications, their aggressive and dismissive treatment of career civil servants, and their potential for conflicts of interest. One DOGE employee resigned after racist social media posts were exposed, only to be publicly offered his job back by Elon Musk, further fueling the firestorm of criticism. DOGE's promise of, quote, maximum transparency, unquote, has also fallen spectacularly short. While a DOGE website was launched, it was quickly revealed to be insecure and largely devoid of meaningful information. Furthermore, the Trump administration granted DOGE an exemption from public disclosure laws, shielding its internal communications and operations from public scrutiny until at least 2034. Claims of massive savings and recovered funds made by DOGE have also been challenged, with analyses revealing significant discrepancies and misrepresentations, raising serious doubts about the accuracy and veracity of DOGE's public pronouncements.